Because being black shouldn't make you suspicious. Like, we shouldn't be dying because the color of our skin is black. Like, that's ludicrous to me.
It's the fact that now caskets have eyes and legs and mouths, and they look like brown boys and brown girls, and that's a problem to me. That's like, I'm not even from America, but I feel like this is a human race issue. It's and it's a problem that we have to keep telling people don't shoot. Like, it's supposed to be in your head that you're not supposed to shoot an innocent person in the first place. Like, why should it be a lesson that don't shoot? Why is it a lesson now? Why is it a reminder? Or like it's disheartening to have to stand here and say our lives matter.
I personally feel like we're standing an arm's length away from something that could be a genocide, from a discriminatory part of our lives. We have people in Gaza giving us tips on how to handle tear gas, and mothers who have to give talks to their sons of how they have to walk in the streets. And we need to let people sleep.
And the news don't help. They make it seem like it's our fault. Like, look at them, it's their fault because look how they dress, look what type of music they listen to, look how they talk. You know, they were asking for it. And it's like, who asked to be shot innocently? Nobody asked for that.
I'm here because I'm tired of standing back and doing nothing. Like, I feel like I've always felt like I was too young, but it's like, why not? Like,
I feel like you're never too young to start a revolution.
Right, and it's like, we're out here, like, people are getting killed younger than me. Like, why can't I do this? Like, I always listen to other people tell me, oh, it's dangerous, it's not safe. But if we're doing nothing about it, that does not change.
I'm here because of solidarity, because I feel like if we're all getting together and realizing there's a problem, then at least it's doing something and not just sitting back and scrolling through my news feed. Like, I'm here because I'm super tired of having to, like, I feel like we shouldn't have to have these kinds of rallies. I feel like things like this shouldn't be happening in general. We shouldn't have to be saying things about it because it shouldn't be happening, period. I just think it's ridiculous that we have to look at everyone now and make sure that, you know, we're appearing to be not suspicious, when the fact is they think we're suspicious just because of the way we look. Like, I'm sick of having to walk around knowing that just because we're all black means that we have targets on our backs now.
Because this case is outrageous, and because of what happened after. Because the community came together and they're basically saying this is not going to keep on happening, and we are going to do something about this. And black youth just can't be shot down indiscriminately, and we act like it's business as usual. People outraged all over the country. I think even more so than with Trayvon Martin, because we thought that with Trayvon Martin, people had learned that there was such a powerful response to that, that even the police officers would say that this can't happen. Really, the reason I'm here is because 3 of my goddaughters spent the day in my office. And I walked them to the L, and I walked back, and I saw the people. And I have to, you know, anytime you see people mobilizing in your community, you have to come out and support that.
Yes.
Because this is a
national.
Yes, it's an outpouring of love and emotion and truth. You know, people are here because they are tired of our youth being shot down in the street. They're tired of them being second-class citizens. They're tired of our neighborhoods virtually being police states.
Yes.
You can ride through North Philadelphia. North Philadelphia is a police state. We're occupied by the police.
So is West Philly.
West Philly, but if you go to Northeast Philly, it's not. If you go to City Line Avenue, it's not. If you go to Montgomery County, it's not. So what's the difference? The difference is race.
The people.
The people. It is that simple.
Well, what would you say to the citizens of Ferguson?
I would say that your outrage, the outpouring of violence is justified. People think that there should be no reaction to violence. I would use the analogy of a forest ranger who goes into a forest and burns down a part of the forest to allow for new growth, to allow for change. Sometimes you have to burn things down to have change.
Yes.
It's that simple.
Yes.
If you sit in your living room and say, oh, it's a shame that that happened, you're expressing sentiment, emotion. But when people get violently upset and they burn down buildings, then the government sees something seriously wrong here. People are burning down buildings. What has prompted such a violent response? Because it's total injustice. People get infuriated by injustice, and that's the reality.
Yes, yes.
Gotcha. You agree with everything he said?
Oh, definitely. Well, particularly because I work with a bunch of young people in West Philadelphia, particularly from the John Barry School. We call the Earth Day kids. So when we see things like that happening, certainly we get, some measure of concern about our children. And I think most of the people who are here today are here because of our youth. That's our greatest treasure, and we're here to protect it.
I came out, I saw it on Facebook earlier today, and it's kind of fortuitous because on Tuesday, a family in Chester was hosting their own rally out of a shooting death by the police in Chester. And that was on Tuesday down at the Chester police station. The man's name at this moment, I can't really remember. But seeing all these things different come together, and there's a lot of news around they're like police brutality, police shootings from all over the nation are starting to come to a head, man. I just wanted to be here to see people, you know what I'm saying, and then see what sort of actions we can take. Also, my role as an educator, how we can turn this into sort of like classroom curriculum or lessons and kind of take that to the next level.
Elaborate on that a little bit more.
I really believe that, one of the roles that we have as educators is how we build the next generation and the questions that they come to, the things that's on their mind. So when we think about not only Michael Brown and the people who are in the street, but also from the police officer standpoint, what did his school teach him about what happens when you are when you come across black men? You know what I'm saying? What ideas are there, or what ideas are in the picture? I believe that in school we have a responsibility to be able to pull out those character traits, pull out those values, and really analyze those and critique those, and be able to sort of expand our connections to people. In our little spot, in our local spot, but also around the world.
Now it sounds like you've given it some thought. So, what would you tell someone who came across a black male?
Anybody want that is a very interesting question,
yeah,
right? I think I think for me where it would start was the history, right? We need to take all these different moments and be able to piece them together, coming from the period of enslavement, coming from the civilizations of Africa, the periods of enslavement, to Reconstruction, to civil rights era, so that's one piece, right? Then we need to talk about poverty, right? We need to talk about what that does in communities and the systems that creates that, right? I think that's one angle that you always want to bring into it as well. And man, that's a very interesting question, man. But I think that's the question that we need to ask, right? And not just ask that of black males, but also ask that of the people around us as well, the white males, the white females. In the suburbs, they need to be asking that question. We think about that in Philly a lot, but we need to be asking that in the suburbs as well.
You're right.
So that's a great question, man.
All across the United States.
But then the great thing about it too is I think Michael Brown, and condolences to his family, but it's an energy that we recognize year over year, and the names. There's a lot of names here that's probably around, you know what I'm saying? And that energy, I think that just comes to Ferguson, And it is that one moment, but it's a whole bunch of stories, a whole bunch of pain, a whole bunch of struggles that's connected to that. That's bigger than Ferguson, you know what I'm saying? They probably got some names in St. Louis right now that they can name off. So, you know what I'm saying? New Orleans and all these different places, man.
So the two things we wanted to accomplish was to have a moment of peace together and a peaceful gathering of people. And we've been very clear since we started planning these events that this was not a protest, it was not a rally, it was a really simple vigil to have a moment of silence together and grieve and have a minute to mourn and really feel the losses that we've all felt. So we accomplished that tonight, and I'm confident that the other 85 cities have the same experience.
What's the follow-up from here? What happens now after this?
From here, we are going to be galvanizing from here, collecting these names and continuing to spread the word via social networks as we did to get all these people out here tonight, and gathering starting a week from tonight, actually next week, Thursday at 7 p.m. We're going to be starting to discuss, first of all, the laws that exist currently in each of these areas related to police interaction with our communities and legislation that we can introduce. So that's the next steps that we want to move forward.